Greetings and salutations, fellow pilots. This is Akirishin. In this video, I will be talking about the new update 2.0.5. And this is just going to be a general overview. I'm not going to go too far in the specifics because it's all available online for you to read yourself. But I just want to kind of summarize things and maybe share a few thoughts about the system. And overall, from about 30,000 feet, no pun intended, I would categorize this update as making things really complicated. In the past, one of the things that I kind of liked about World of Warplanes is that it's kind of a simple system. There are some things that some choices you can make along the way, but those choices are limited, and therefore, you don't have to spend a huge amount of time trying to figure out this and figure out that and chase this and chase that. But with this update 2.0.5, all of that is about to change. And the choices that you can make, the changes that you can make to a particular aircraft will have exponentially increased. So I'm just gonna go over that just a little bit here. So first off, you still have the same system as in the past where you have the upgrades to the aircraft in terms of airframe and engine and guns that you can research. And once you have researched those upgrades, once you have fully upgraded the components to the aircraft, then the aircraft will achieve elite status. Now, as it currently stands in the game prior to this update, you get elite status by researching the next aircraft, the previous aircraft and whatnot. But here it's just researching all of the upgrades to the aircraft gets you to elite status. And the benefit of getting to elite status now will be that you can then get certain missions that will allow you to further upgrade your aircraft. And specifically, you can get new equipment enhancements. So for example, you can choose an advanced reinforced skin for your aircraft. Now, in the past, these sorts of upgrades, if you will, had only positives. But now these particular equipment enhancements will have both positives and negatives. So for example, if you get the advanced reinforced skin that they're picturing here on the website, while you might have a 25% increase in the tail's resistance to damage, you're going to have a reduction in cruise speed. You're going to have a reduction in maximum speed with boost activated, a reduction in resistance to damage to AA guns. So you're going to have to make choices. In equipment enhances will have positives and negatives depending upon which you choose. And there are different levels of these enhancements. You have stock, improved, advanced, ultimate, and special effects. So as you go up in the degree of enhancement, so do the stat bonuses and negatives increase. Once you get these equipment enhancements, the other component is that you can get materials that can to some degree improve the positives or negatives of the equipment enhancement. So some of these materials, for example, Uh, they may help you with, let's just take a look here at advanced reinforced skin, where it has plus 27.5% to tail's resistance to damage. But at the same time, it has a negative 2.2% effect on cruising speed. So these materials that you get will be able to monkey around with either the positive or the negative or both, depending upon what the material improvement is. So these are some huge changes in the game, and of course we'll have to wait and see how it all tailors out. But that's kind of a very basic overview of things. And I'm not really sure how I feel about the changes. I'll have to just kind of, like everyone else, play it by ear and see how it does. I've always liked the simplicity of the game, so that it becomes more about the pilot's skill than what particular equipment you've been able to acquire. And now it seems like to some degree it's going to be the equipment you have is going to play a bigger role. And I'm not sure if that's a positive or a negative. The other thing that I noticed as a change is that when it comes to consumables, which you have more or less consumables depending upon whether it's a lower tier aircraft or a higher tier aircraft. But the other thing that I have noticed is that when it comes to the gold consumables, as it currently stands, gold consumables most of them activate automatically. So you don't have to think about it. I've always thought that was one of the good benefits of having the gold consumables, is they just activate. You can focus on flying the aircraft and you don't have to hit the fire extinguisher. You don't have to activate the medical kit to get your pilot healed. Those things would just happen automatically. But now they have changed it such that the gold consumables, just like the non-gold versions, activate manually. So yeah, that's definitely a negative in my book. It's one of the reasons I like the gold consumables, and they've kind of, now it looks like, taken that away. Another important change that I noticed is that it appears as though there is going to be a whole lot of new information available about your aircraft. Currently, if you get an upgrade in either pilot skills or equipment, it doesn't really change the stats visible in the game that you're looking at. So it kind of doesn't, update you as to, okay, if I put this consumable on, what is that going to change in terms of the stats? It doesn't really do that. Now the game will change as you put in upgrades or new equipment or pilot skills. It will show those changes. So that's a great change that they've decided to make. Another bit of information that is available, and I certainly don't want to take any credit for this because I have no idea why they did it, but I have developed, as you know, my aircraft comparison chart, and in that chart I tell you in terms of gun armaments and bombs and rockets. I take a look at the collective damage all of those gun armaments can do at a given time together, collective damage. And that helps you compare each of the aircraft by looking at the collective damage they can do. They didn't have that in the game before. That was something that I went in and I manually calculated for you guys so that you could see that and compare the aircraft. And now they have added that to the game. Why they did that, if that has any relation to me featuring that in my videos, I have no idea. Certainly don't want to take credit for something that maybe had been on the drawing board for some time now. But that's a great change that they've instituted, and it will certainly make my job easier. I don't have to have a calculator every time I do these videos for you guys. So, and of course they've added back in the ability to do replays, that kind of thing. So, hey, these are some of the changes that are coming, whether we like them or not, in update 2.0.5. So I just wanted to give you a real quick overview of things, and we'll all have to cross our fingers and wait and see how this new system works. I have a little bit of trepidation about it, but we'll get through it, right? Adapt and overcome, as they say. All right, well, I hope you have enjoyed this video and that it helps you get a quick overview of update 2.0.5 if you didn't want to read all of this material. But it is all available, and the website breaks it down. If you hit these buttons, more on consumables and their effects, more on equipment and their effects, more on materials. It goes into each one of those things in much greater detail, and you can take a look at that just as I have done, and see with particularity what the changes are going to be. All right, until next time, take care.